We had a new moon in Sagittarius not more than 24 hours ago. So it's going to be 24 hours in about 45 minutes as I am shooting this video. And I have to give you some context for this new moon. This new moon is without any aspects. It's in the first degree of Sagittarius. And along with the new moon here, we've got Venus and Mercury in Sagittarius. Okay. We've just come off of two lunations, a new moon solar eclipse in Scorpio and a full moon eclipse in Taurus, two eclipses. And then we have this new moon. After this new moon, in roughly 2 weeks' time, we have a full moon that's conjunct Mars. And then every new moon that follows for a while through the eclipses carries a certain amount of weight to it. About a month from now, we're going to have the new moon in Capricorn, and Mercury goes retrograde in Capricorn on the 29th, and Pluto is in Capricorn, so that is a conversation. Then the next new moon at the end of January in Aquarius, Saturn is in Aquarius till March the 7th, so that is a conversation. Then the new moon after that in Pisces, Neptune is in Pisces. Then the new moon after that in Aries is the first of two new moons, the second new moon of which is an eclipse. So, and then we have a new moon in Taurus, where you've got Uranus and let us not forget that when it comes to Aries, we're going to have Jupiter and Chiron in Aries when the two new moons in Aries take place. So in the middle of what is a pretty hectic, important, transformative time, we are given sort of a sole new moon until you get to May or June. Until you get to May, because the Gemini new moon is in May. Or no, it's in June. The Gemini new moon is, yes, I think it's in June. It's in June. We will come to it. Far away. Certainly, as we look ahead to the first 5 months of next year, there's enough going on. And we've been given this kind of benign and almost lovely new moon that I would recommend that we all try our best to enjoy, because pretty shortly, we're going to start to feel the energies building again as the planets in Sagittarius start to square Neptune, which will happen sooner than we know it, preparing for the opposition to Mars at the time of the full moon on December 7th or 8th, depending on where you are. So it's kind of nice, at least in the States, to have this new moon occur around the time of Thanksgiving. So hopefully it means that there's a level of quiet or peace to it, God willing. Although with the way things are going, with the news of a shooting every day, who knows what kind of. Anyway, let's not go there. Let's remain with the astrology of the time, with the astrology of the new moon. So the point I'm trying to make is important new moons are coming up, and we're coming off of an important new moon. We have another month before when Mercury goes retrograde and more stuff comes to the surface. We're in the middle of a Mars retrograde. We are heading in a couple of weeks to a Gemini full moon that is conjunct to retrograde. There's plenty happening. So welcome in that aspect of what is affectionately and popularly known as Sagittarius season. Well, I don't know about affectionately, but popularly known as Sagittarius season, i.e. the time when the sun is in Sagittarius. The sun came into Sagittarius on the 22nd, day before yesterday, and yesterday we had the new moon. So as we deal with the sun entering Capricorn about a month from now, for the next month or so, at least some aspect of the energy around us has this kind of ray of light portal that, while seemingly benign and blessed, kind of has this come this way through all the change and morass feeling to it. So it's not unimportant, and I'll explain why in a second, but it's unalloyed in terms of the quality of its purity. Now, the energy of the new moon really started around the middle of November, which is about a week ago. On the 16th, Venus entered Sagittarius of November, 16th of November. On the 17th of November, Mercury entered Sagittarius, okay? The planet of opportunity, relationships, finances, financial opportunities, relationship opportunities, artistic and creative opportunities, bringing a certain amount of harmony and balance and peace to wherever she goes. Venus entered about a week ago. Mercury, the planet of communication, emails, texts, transactions, letters, entered. And one day before the Sun entered Sagittarius, on the 21st, Mercury and Venus conjuncted in Sagittarius. So the idea of a romantic or financial or relationship or some combination of each or creative opportunity brewing since the beginning of this week. But it's not just brewing since the beginning of the week. I would say that the energies really started about a week and a half ago, right? Remember, it's not when a planet makes a transit or an ingress, the energy starts a little bit before, because there's an orb to a planet. So even as Venus entered Sagittarius, or Mercury entered Sagittarius, that energy started to make its way in a few days before. And then we have this new moon. So wherever Sagittarius sits in your chart, what house it occupies and what that house stands for, it would not surprise me one bit if that part of the house has seen some level of bubbling, nice, pleasant opportunity, relationship, creative, Venusian, accompanied by communication, hand in hand with communication. And then you have the new moon. Now, what you do with these energies is up to you. There's no success guaranteed. What the planets are going to try to bring and create is the opportunity and the opening, and how you deal with and how you prepare and how you show up to these things. And alas, on some level, what is fated and what is meant for you and what is not meant for you, all of that will play a role in this. But if opportunity knocks, why not take it? Because it may not be necessarily about it culminating in whatever the opportunity is directly about, but you could make a connection, you could become a little bit more known in another room, you could handshake with someone new, you just, openings are openings, portals are portals. The ruler of this new moon, Jupiter, also on the day of the new moon, has gone direct. It was stationary. Now, there's a lot about, oh my God, new moon, stationary, going direct, amazing. Jupiter's stationary. But, Jupiter is in Pisces. Jupiter was in Pisces earlier in 2022. It entered Aries, went retrograde, came back into Pisces about a month ago, gone direct now, and will remain in Pisces till the end of the year. Now, it would not surprise me at all, if along with news and information related to the Sagittarius part of the chart, you also got some sort of event or news or occurrence in the Pisces part of the chart that could create an opening for a new beginning in the Pisces part of your chart. Ending and beginning. Ending a 12-year cycle, 12, 13-year cycle, starting a 12, 13-year cycle in the Pisces part of the chart. Where does Pisces sit in your chart? What house does it occupy? And what does that house stand for? Okay, so two parts of the chart active and activated at this time, or leading up to this time when you see this video. And I would pay attention to them for the opportunities they give you. In the Sagittarius part of the chart, the opportunities are cleaner, purer, easier to recognize as opportunities. In the Pisces part of the chart, it might seem like you need to give up your interpretation of what is helpful, unhelpful, good, bad, right, wrong, because Jupiter sometimes acts in counterintuitive ways. Jupiter can sometimes lay you off in order to create a new beginning. It can bring in that communication about a something that makes you act, but if you look at the opportunity behind the acting, it could actually clear the energies in the Pisces part of your chart to create a new beginning there. Even though the missive or the event that occurs could seemingly be stressful or strenuous or negative, just like the example I gave you of a layoff, for example. It's Jupiter creating what is a lucky break? Sometimes a lucky break is not getting something or getting that deadline or the stress and the pressure of having to address something, and in the addressing of it actually deal with something that has been on a back burner for way too long, but will allow you to create a much more significant opening in this Pisces part of your chart. So both those parts of the chart will be active. In addition, Jupiter's in Pisces. Pisces is ruled by Jupiter, so Jupiter is in its own sign. Pisces is also ruled by Neptune. Neptune is in its own sign of Pisces. So again, this Pisces connection with the Sagittarius new moon becomes pronounced because both the ruler and the dispositors of the chart are sitting in Pisces and are strong and powerful there. Okay. Now, the Pisces part of the chart also plays a role because a retrograde Mars in Gemini. Look at my last video that I did on Mars retrograde. Mars retrograde is squaring the Pisces part of your chart, and Mercury and Venus, as they continue to move forward in Sagittarius, will square Neptune and Jupiter. So I am not going to spend a lot of energy on that right now. For me, those energies talk more to the energy of this full moon that is developing on December the 7th and 8th. Okay, and we will deal with that in a future video. Right now, I want you to be present to opportunity. However gentle it might be in Sagittarius, however important it might be in Pisces, it's going to be important in both cases. In the middle of change like this, when you have portals and openings, the reason why they become important is that they may start to offer a glimmer of a way forward through the change. So when we've got so much change happening in the Scorpio part of the chart, in the Capricorn part of the chart, in the Aquarius part of the chart, in the Pisces part of the chart, in the Aries part of the chart, in the Taurus part of the chart, and right now in the Gemini part of the chart, when you get a new moon like this, it can be that as all these things around you need to be addressed and toppled and restructured, and some of it is out of your control, and then what are those things that can just keep you moving forward? So do take the opportunity seriously. And with a sign like Sagittarius, you know, adventure and a certain amount of quiet and intuitive connection to spirit and expansiveness, adventure, spontaneity, even things like travel, expansion of the mind, expansion, anything that just be open. And it's a much quiet, it's not a Geminian energy. You'll deal with that in 2 weeks. It's not other people's opinions and other people's chatter. It is about that quiet, independent voice that is yours and that is directly related to spirit. So it could be how you recognize spirit's voice. I'm sorry if this is Looney Tunes for some of you. You can dismiss it and you don't have to pay attention to it. But it's a much more intuitive, expansive sign. And as gregarious as the sign of Sagittarius can be, it has a very marked, very strong spiritual, purpose-led, purpose-oriented, goal-oriented, your goal, your truth. It's a quieter sign than you might think it is, in terms of its collectedness and in terms of its communication with spirit, its direct line to spirit. I always feel like when it comes to Sagittarius, it's the conversation you are having with spirit. And when it comes to something like Pisces, it's a little bit the other way. It's a conversation that spirit's having with you. But again, don't get too lost in that, because that's only kind of true. Because once the conversation starts, then who's to say where the communication is coming from? New moon in Sagittarius, no aspects with Venus and Mercury. Venus and Mercury coming in about a week ago, conjuncting artistic creative opportunities. New moon 24 hours ago. It wouldn't surprise me, depending on where Sagittarius sits in your chart, that even as you're into Thanksgiving, emails and there have been communications even over the last 24 hours that are heating up. It wouldn't surprise me that if in the Sagittarius part of the chart there's a busyness that is building. Now, Venus leaves Sagittarius to go into Capricorn Actually, Mercury leaves first on December the 6th, and Venus leaves next on December the 10th. So even while Sagittarius season is actively underway, these two planets will move into Capricorn. We're going to feel the Capricorn energy the end of the first week, even in the first week of December. So, and remember, Mercury goes retrograde in Capricorn at the end of the year. So the Capricorn, that's why I'm saying, enjoy the gentle rain of blessings and portals now for a few days. Assume that it's going to last till the end of Thanksgiving break for those of you who are in the States. And whatever that means, as you head towards the end of November and the beginning of December, and things are already, it's not a quiet holiday with all these opportunities and portals, however gentle they might be. And also keep an eye out for whatever that event is as Jupiter went stationary and starts to go direct in Pisces. Whatever that event is in the Pisces part of the chart that creates another opening yet for a new beginning, much more portentous, much more filled with opportunity in the Pisces part of your chart. The two transits that are being made outside of the new moon, just shortly after the new moon on November the 24th and February 5th, tomorrow and day after, are that Venus and Mercury trine Chiron in Aries. And this could be an opportunity. As cheesy and as trite as it sounds, it's an opportunity for healing. Now, what the communication is between the Sagittarius and the Aries part of the chart, only those of you who know your charts and know which signs occupy which houses and what those houses will stand for will know and be able to make that connection. But somewhere the opportunities in the Sagittarius part of your chart, this alliance between Venus, the planet of opportunity and relationships and finances and creativity, and Mercury, the planet of communication and transactions and cognition, their alliance in Sagittarius, how these activities stand to heal the Aries part of your chart, frankly, only points me again to the importance of these opportunities that are occurring. Remember, the Aries part of your chart, as we head into next year, as we head into April and May, we're talking March and April, we're talking two new moons, the second one being an eclipse there. So, and it's nice to have Venus and Mercury trining, and soon, and on the 3rd of December, the Sun trining Chiron as well. So the energy of the Sun in Sagittarius and the new moon in Sagittarius will last 4 weeks. In about a week's time, maybe even less, the energy is going to become much more complicated by Capricornian energies and other energies in the chart and Geminian energies that are going to come into play as we prepare for that full moon on December 7th and 8th. So there's a purity to this energy for about a week or so, but then for the next month or so, it's going to be a positive through line that's going to pull you through a lot of the other chaos that you're going to be dealing with. Some of the chaos that you might be dealing with might actually have to do, to some extent, with this through line being created. You might find that this through line in the sign of Sagittarius and the trine to Chiron and everything that's going on is actually a helpful through line, because it's going to allow you to keep that as what needs to be maintained, around which all the changes need to occur. It could be a helpful goal, a helpful, when you have a portal and that opening and that ray of light, it might be helpful to have a ray of light to follow so that everything can be aligned and shifted and changed to give that a chance to grow, for you to be able to walk through that portal. Whatever the adjustments need to be made in Gemini and Capricorn and Aquarius and blah, blah, Pisces, and the link to Aries remains important because of those two new moons coming up and Jupiter entering Aries at the end of the year and being there from January through May of next year, creating a 12-year beginning there, and Chiron being there. I will stand by what I said, and I wouldn't be surprised if I expand on it as time goes on. Yeah, I'm not going to say it all again. Even in a week's time, even the planets in Sagittarius are going to start to get compromised by other energies, because Venus and Mercury will have to oppose Mars, and the Sun will have to oppose Mars, of course, by the time the full moon keeps going. So enjoy the next week or so, and pay attention to the openings that are being offered up, and meet them. Show up. Show up. Show up to the best of your ability. And kind of use the Bhagavad Gita principle of show up to the best of your ability and let Spirit take care of the outcomes and do the designing that Spirit needs to do. Pay attention to the Pisces part of your chart. If something has come up there that requires attention and action, take action to create that new beginning there, even if it feels stressful. Because as I said, Jupiter has a tendency to start to move the furniture in order to actually bring in the furniture that's going to be with you for 12 years. Okay? I will leave it at this. I don't really feel like there's much more that I want to add for now. I do think that the next video I want to do is about Jupiter in Pisces for another month or so, because that will expand on these themes and we'll cover that. And then I feel like I have more to say about Mars in Gemini, believe it or not, even though I did the last video on that as we head to the full moon. So more to follow there. I hope you found this useful. Feel free to share it, like, comment, subscribe to my YouTube channel, click on the bell icon. Welcome to new subscribers. I had a few new subscribers recently. Click on the bell icon, and on top of the bell icon there'll be a squiggly bell. If you click on that, then you'll be notified when I do new videos. Thank you. Have a good holiday season for those of you who are having some sort of a holiday season, and for the rest of you, try and make the most of the relatively clear energies of the next week or so. I would say of the next 4 or 5 days or so, and then recognize what it is that you're being pulled to, what this portal is about, and how it might be connecting you to the Aries part of your chart, so that you know which way you need to go and what needs to be adjusted around it, because there's going to be a lot of adjusting as we head forward over the next 6 months or so. A lot of meaningful transits. Thank you. Take care.